All right, so we got a lot going on. We're getting ready for our competition, KCBS, next weekend. So I'm making some beef stock. I just want that to inject my brisket. You can buy the injection, mix it. There's tons of stuff on the market, which is fine. I'm looking for that little edge. And you get that little edge by, if you can see those, that's almost against the law. That's prime rib bones with a bunch of meat on there. I got a whole mess of those that I'm going to stew down. I'm just going to let it cook in this pot for 5 or 6 hours. I'll use that to make some soup too or something later on. But I want that to inject my brisket with. So I'm going to inject that juice from the prime rib. So I'm going to throw in some just some celery. You can just chop it up however you want. It's no big deal. So I'm just going to whack a little of that. Throw that in there. That's the only thing celery is good for. Boys and girls, don't eat this just like people say, like with peanut butter. That's like a negative. Peanut butter will kill you and celery will be worse. So, but in stock, it's fine. Carrots, you can eat those, I guess, if you want. It's not a big deal. So there's some carrots in there. Like I said, mainly we got just tons. You see that is a hunk of, doesn't even want to stab. It's still fresh, running away from me. Anyway, you got the picture. But you can use any kind of beef scraps you want. Like I said, where it's a competition, I'm getting a little more crazy and sacrificing this good prime rib in there. So I threw some garlic in there. I'm going to throw some McCormick Montreal steak seasoning. So I'm just going to put a jag of that in there. About that much. How much was that? 2.5 tablespoons. This is just some prime rib seasoning. It's got pretty good coarse salt in there. So that'll give me a little salt. I don't want it too salty. That's why I don't like just this stuff you buy off the shelf and throw in there. I don't want it too salty. I want my brisket to talk. I want this nice beef flavor to talk. So I'm going to inject that thing up. We'll film that brisket too. So this is just some beef stock, beef broth. I'm going to dump that in that pot. There you go. So we're going to huck that in there. We'll do 2 of those. Add some water. And then that thing's just going to throw it on. I'm going to jack it up to a boil. Let it boil for a minute. And then I'm just going to turn it down and let it simmer the rest of the day. Just kind of let it hang out and simmer. But it's going to make some good injection for that brisket. When I'm cooking at home, I don't inject a lot just because, I don't know, I don't think you need to. But for this, where we're trying to, win, get a little edge, that's just water in there. And that's it. So I've just got 2 things of beef stock, about half as much water as beef stock. That gets rid of some of that salt. I'm just going to let those ribs work, and I'm going to throw it on that pot. So we'll show you at the end when we get done. We'll let you sample it through TV or internet or however you do that. But see you in a bit. Hey, so I let that beef stock just sit in that pan and simmer really all day. It was in there a good 6 hours, probably better. That meat came off the bones. Great flavor. So I threw it in a jar last night, put it in the fridge. Your fat will come to the top. That's no big deal. We'll heat up and ready to use it. But I'll use that for my brisket. I'm going to inject that into my brisket. It's going to give it that great flavor. That is just prime rib, all that meat, all that bones, all that juice off that from sitting all day with celery and garlic and carrots and stuff like that. And those little things that I think in the competition, where we're doing this for that KCBS competition, is that instead of buying store-bought or mixing or powder, just dumping on beef stock out of the store, that's going to give me a little more beef flavor, bold flavor. I'm going to put it in the brisket. I'm going to roll my burnt ends in it after when I resauce those up. And that is what's going to help us win. So anyway, but awesome to make soup out of that. You can make, that's just the greatest beef stock ever. So there you go. Simple how to make your own.